My name is George Carlson Yaska Sr. And I was born and raised in Kayakuk, village of Kayakuk. And I lived mostly on Kayakuk River, mostly around Dalby River, Kayakuk village, and then I moved here about 1952, 53, 52 maybe. But I've been in this area since I could remember, 1940s or somewhere, 1940 maybe. And I've been on all the old trails that runs from here to Galena and Kayakuk, Dalby River, Catil River, Husla River, and a lot of the old villages that used to be down here, but around Dalby, Joe Noddy's store, there was a village there. I lived there, we had a house there, and right below there we had another house. I have a cabin there, a new cabin there now, but I lived all over. I went where I trapped, where I've been camping, just about all over on the Kayakuk River. Way up Husla River many times, Catil River, Dalby River, the Dalby Slough, and around Kayakuk for about 18 years. I was adopted down there after my parents passed away. I lived with Bernettis, Ella Bernetti, and Shirley Ann, Mary Bernetti, and Jackie. And then after I was old enough, then I went to work. When I was 18, and I went to work. First job was in Nenana as a they call it a rigger, around operating. I work with operators like just labor or a rigger anyway. So and then after since then I've been working on a lot of different jobs. A lot of different jobs for about 45 years. But I started building sleds since I was really pretty young, really young, and that was easy for me. To build a sled, just you build your own styles, whatever, however it's going to turn out. Nobody knows how it's going to turn out, but and then I didn't have snowshoe. I didn't have nobody to build a snowshoe for me right away. I needed one for that year, and so I know I watched people building them before, so I know what to do, how to cut the rawhide and cut the birch, and what kind of wood to look for. As I was living in Kayakuk one year, and one old timer told me to look for the straight birch, and he said you have to chick it, cut it down with the axe and chip it down. But he said you need to go around a tree and look if there's a knot right here, a limb. He said cut right straight down from there, because that limb is going to be thrown away anyway. That part is going to be thrown away, and this where you're checking the wood, that's going to be thrown away too. So he said do that. Don't cut it over here where the tree is clean, he said. And So that was a long time ago, and I remember those things. And after I started building sleds, that part was easy. The sled was easy, pretty easy. I could just build it, draw it out on the paper, the kind of sled I'm going to build, and then it turns out that way. And to build a snowshoe, I went to Hughes, Alakakit. I traveled all over, and I saw different styles. So I copied one old timer, Beatus in Hughes. He had his own style, so I copied that one year, and it turned out good. I had that pair for 4 or 5 years. Then I copied another old timer down here, and it all seemed like they all look like this back here. Most of them look like that. So I just stayed with this style. In the old days, they had snowshoe that was long, about almost 6 feet for the men, and that was for cross country. Like they made them wide, pretty wide, about that wide, and then they made them, and that they could run in deep snow anywhere in. They had no trouble with snowshoe diving or, sinking in the front. They had no trouble with those. But nowadays we just make smaller pair because of you could tie them on the side of your snow machine, and it won't be in the way. In case you break down, you could just if you broke down, you could walk home on even a small pair of snowshoe. Without snowshoe, you'll be stuck for, I don't know, till somebody go pick you up, look for you. So you always have to have a snowshoe on your snow machine. And to cut the rawhide, I watched people do that a long time ago. Mostly the old timers. There was the old people were always building sleighs and cutting rawhides every year. Everybody had their own stuff to work with, because they had to build new sleighs every year, and that way even young people used to work. Even young people used to build sled. Even kids, young kids, 10-year-olds, and that's how we learned all that stuff. And the snowshoeing, we had to do a lot of walking, and we stayed in good shape. We were in good shape then. A lot of these old timers that you see right now, that they're old now, but they were when they were young, they were in races, snowshoe races. Like I was in race a lot of times, snowshoe races. It was pretty tough to keep up with the fast guys, but I tried anyway. I tried to keep up with them. And right now there's a lot of kids that want a pair of snowshoes, so I made snowshoe for them. And during New Year's or Carnival time, they would all be at the starting line with their snowshoe. Everybody had their own snowshoe. So if you're here at New Year's time, you'll see everybody out there waiting for the races. They get to be pretty strong runners, really good runners. after all these years, see, every year. And if they didn't have that, well, you know, there won't be no races, nothing. There'll be nothing. There's a couple of people that building some right now, but you know, they're just starting out, and I think they'll do good. I just showed them every once in a while where they're making a mistake, and they catch on as long as they keep it up. I think they're doing good. I see them building a pair every year. I hope they do anyway, because I'm not going to be doing this for all the time. I have to quit sometimes. Sometimes I get too many orders, and I can't. I want to quit. I'm getting too many orders. The prospectors used to come to up Kayakuk River a long time ago. They were all over the country with native made snowshoe, and then from Bettles or Wiseman and Alatin River, they would be. From there, they would start walking towards Fairbanks. They would go over the Portage to Canada by snowshoe. From there to Fairbanks, all the way to Big Delta, Paxson, in that pass there, that Richardson Highway. They would, by the time they get to Valdez, the boat would be there in the spring. So that's how far they walk on snowshoe. And then later on, and at the same time, they had horses and dog teams traveling back and forth on that trail. So that's what they followed, that trail. That was, you know, a long time ago. So they traveled a long ways. One of those old timers wrote about that one. He walked all the way to Valdez, but he didn't have very much lunch. He had dry meat or something in his pockets. That's all he had, and maybe a little lunch in his bag, something else, maybe a teapot. So that's the way they traveled a long time ago. And the native people pretty much did the same thing. They had to have that to, you know, break their trail out wherever they're going to travel. They had the big pair for the men. The men had the big pair for the loose snow, where they walked through pretty much snow, but you know, 3 feet of snow. And then they had the small pair, about this long. That's the trail snowshoe. It's made special. It's got a sharp nose. Made special for trail. And they used to walk from here to Dalby, or from there to Kayakuk on that trail, and without riding, without any dog team, just walking. Just to be on, they could. You can't walk on the trail without snowshoe. You got to have something so you don't step through that, you know, kind of soft spots. So they had to have the short snowshoe to walk on the trail. And then you could run, or if you want to, you could run and walk. Snowshoe is not finished. The footing part is not put in here yet, like the webbing for the moose hide. And This might have been the snowshoe filling here might have been looked like twine, cotton twine. There was no nylon twine in those days, and some people couldn't get the caribou hide to finish this part, so they used twine. This is about 6 feet. This man is about, looked like he's about close to 5'8" maybe, and the snowshoe is taller than him, longer. See, and the snowshoe is down here in the snow, quite a ways down too. So this was made in 1950, 55. And this snowshoe here, a women's snowshoe, is about 5 feet long. You know, there was a trapper in Galena that told me he ran out of, he was behind Galena on the flats way back about, I don't know, 5 or 10 miles back. And he ran out of gas back there. It was really deep snow. He said he had no snowshoe, and it just, he was stuck, so he had to crawl. He had to crawl out to Campion Air Force Base, about 3 miles out. So he said he had to crawl, but he had big mittens on, and that's how he made it to that Air Force Base. He got pretty cold. He got pretty weak. His clothes was getting wet. His knee, his clothes was getting pretty wet, but he made it. And then he said ever since then he had the snowshoe on his sled. So if he had a snowshoe at that time, he wouldn't got in that trouble. That was really pretty. You know, you had to have a snowshoe on your sled all the time, especially when you're traveling in that deep snow. And then, so he said he learned something there that